12/15/2013, DUTCHSINSE is in St. Louis, monitoring the snow that's falling by his house. High levels of radiation detected, 76.9 CPM in the snow. Here you go, watch this. He's running a 10-minute check in the snow. Wow. And yesterday, I see here it says 81.4 CPM in the snow. Wow. Wow. Let's watch this for a minute. Don't play in the snow. Look at this. No digging of ears. Talking to the dog. Max. What are you doing? Stop that tail. Here. Here's a blanket. Here he comes.
All right. Again, we're at mid-range, 400 range, and look how that's spiking up now. The yellow counter going above 0.1, and I'm sure you've seen it go up a few more times. While I've been stepped away here, I'm going to stay inside. You know, getting these high of readings, it's not alert level. Alert level is considered 100 or 1,000 counts over the course of 10 minutes. 80 is really high. It really is. Which means there's something in the snow that's causing a radioactive return. And you can watch my past videos to see the same spot in past years and in past snows. And we just broke 500 on the left, we are at 510 and 475 on the right.
That's high.
Count on the rights.
That's high.
Lagging behind.
Alert's 100. You gotta get out of there.
And again, that's just depending upon what's falling right around the counters.
Too late. You've already been exposed. That's bad enough. Because that counts per minute. Yep, minute's up. Yep, you're exposed. Max! Max, stop talking to me again. What you talking about? Max! Leave your earring. What are you doing? Stop jamming it up. What's that? Stop acting like you're confused. What are you doing? that? Oh my gosh. Keep going. Hey, don't play in the snow. Look at this. Probably worse the further west you go, too. Oh, man. Just keeps going.
All right, perfect timing. 769, 742, and again divide that by 10. That gives us 76.9 and 74.2, and the middle counter is still spiking up beyond 0.1 now. There you go, guys. It's borderline, just 25 counts per minute below alert level. Here in St. Louis, south side of St. Louis, December 14th, 8 to 9-ish a.m. Central Time. We should go ahead and show you the surroundings. Okay, so again, just to show you, this is like uncut. There we go. And here's our counters. Let's go ahead and end this. Much love, guys. Be safe, okay? I'll put some links down below on radiation awareness, so you can at least be up to date on what the consequences and effects are, and how to possibly take remediation steps.
There's the information that he said he has for everybody. This is from Earth Space 102 off of DUTCHSINSE channel and CNTV. Chang'e 3, Chinese lunar lander, landing on the moon. China is now on the moon. They have landed. Yes, they're just about. There they go. Look at this. Wow. I don't think they'll censor anything out either if they find anything. Let's see what's going on there. They are on the moon.
Hello, Chrissy Sumer. It's Sunday, December 15th, 2013. It's about 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm on the smokinggun.com where an 11-year-old, there's 11, arrested for punching his grandmother in the face after she refused to buy him a toy in a department store. Now, do not misunderstand what I'm saying. This boy, should be punished. But he was arrested for battery, domestic violence, charged with domestic violence, and transported to the Montgomery County Juvenile Justice Center, right? Are we that inept that we're allowing someone else to take, like the state, to now take care and discipline our kids? Are we unable to do it? No, she was 60 years old. I mean, it's so wrong on so many levels, but really to have him arrested, really? And we wonder why we have the highest, jail rate here, prisoners. Because people like Serco get their hands on them, right? I don't know. I mean, it was wrong, but should he have been arrested? I don't know. What do you guys think? Should he have been arrested? Did they do the right thing? I'd like to hear what you think. All right, stay vigilant, everybody.
Hello, friends. This is Troy Livingston. On Facebook, we have Reactor 4, not all what you expected. I quickly put this together today, showing some concerns that I have and some discrepancies with what TEPCO is saying. So I'm putting it on video. It's already in one of my notes, but I'm putting it on video because things go missing on Facebook all the time. This is Reactor 4, and you see how it's steaming into the atmosphere? This is Reactor 3, this is Reactor 2, this is Reactor 1. Reactor 1 was the first to go and melt down, and it's not steaming now, though it has melted and exploded. Reactor 3 is still steaming from the core. So I'll go a little slower so that people can read this if they pause it and you can see. Well, here again is Reactor 4, Reactor 3, Reactor 2. We see steam billowing out, but what I want to note is that the steam is coming from Reactor 4 right here, and this wall is not collapsed. Reactor 3 exploded before Reactor 4 did. Okay, so here is another view of Reactor 4, Reactor 3, Reactor 2, and Reactor 1. This is the turbine buildings. Here are the trenches that are full of radioactive water that is leaking directly into the ocean. Anyways, what I'm showing you is Reactor 4 has a concave wall right here, and a fuel mass, or a melted mass, that has flowed out of the north wall. This is the north side. This is the south side. This is the spent fuel. You can see steam rising from the spent fuel side. Here's Reactor 1. It's already melted down and no steam visible. Reactor 2 is melting and we can see steam coming out of the window. Reactor 3, there's just so much steam here you can't even see down. And then here's Reactor 4. The wall is concaved right out, and all this is damaged here on the north side. The south side is where the reactor spent fuel pool is. Here's the molten mass. It's a gold color. It's flowing out of the north wall of Reactor 4. My theory is, and the black smoke as well, you can see the black smoke billowing up here from Reactor 4. Black smoke is indicative of melting fuel, and it's why they evacuated Reactor 3 later this month, or later in March, early April, because they saw the steam changed from white, and then it turned into black smoke, and they evacuated. And anyways, this gold color is what I'm thinking is coming from the equipment pool, which is located on the north wall, and is why this is all buckled, because of the intense heat of the 9-hour fire it had. Now here we can see the north wall is heavily damaged here. We know it wasn't from reactor 3. Reactor 3 had already exploded before reactor 4 exploded. Reactor 4 exploded after. They say the theory, what TEPCO says, is the hydrogen gas from reactor 3 flowed into reactor 4, causing the explosion in reactor 4. But how is that possible when reactor 3 was so heavily damaged? There, I know they show pictures of pipes and stuff, but from when you go up to the top, the amount of steam we see bellowing off of reactor 4 here cannot be done by that tiny little pipe that is connected here. And there's just no way that a little pipe can create this much steam. It's definitely melting down inside. So this golden mass looks exactly like the Chernobyl golden mass that they found down in the basement. We'll get to that soon. So here's reactor 3. You see reactor 2 steaming, reactor 3 steaming, and reactor 4. This is by satellite imagery on March the 17th. Now here's another view of reactor 4 over here. This is the spent fuel pool side facing south. And we have reactor 3, a heavy steam bellowing out. Reactor 2, some steam bellowing out. And reactor 1. Reactor 1 melted down first before the tsunami even hit. And it exploded, and we see no steam coming from it. Exactly what I think has happened over here at the equipment pool on reactor 4. It had fully melted down, and there's no more steam being released. As we see over here in reactor 1, there's no more steam. Full meltdown. Now this is yellow smoke and steam being seen from reactor 4 spent fuel pool. This is indicative of plutonium, I believe. The yellow is from the plutonium. Here is a zoom of reactor 4, north wall. We see the molten mass melted out onto this vent pipe here. It is now black, and this is 2 days later. Or let's see, yeah, 2 days later. It's the 18th now. It has cooled, and all this damage, I believe, is from the heat, the intense heat on this side of the building. Now this contradicts what TEPCO is saying, because TEPCO says there's only 1,500 plus fuel assemblies inside reactor 4 spent fuel pool. They say reactor 4 was shut down. Yes, it was. We can see that. There's no cap. There's no core lid on the containment or the core. But not to say it wasn't full of fuel. I think there was fuel in the core, and there was fuel in the equipment pool and the spent fuel pool. So here we have the equipment pool would be over here, the core would be right here, and the spent fuel pool is over here. We see steam because there's still water and it's boiling. So seeing steam is a good thing. We know that there's water there. Once the steam goes away, that's when it's bad. And we can see the molten mass out of the north wall of reactor 4. And the most damage, the lowest damage, and is all on this side of the wall. Right here. Now we can see the containment lid. It's moved off the core. The core would be right about here. And the containment lid is moved over. This would be where the equipment pool is. And we can see that this is all mangled on this side, and this is all folded in. Now if this exploded, this should be pushed outwards, but it's not pushed outwards. It's pushed in. And how would all this metal get bent like this? It's from the intense heat that would have been generated from a melt out from the molten mass that flowed out of this wall right here. Now we're getting into March the 20th. These are the drone flyovers. Okay, this is reactor 4 right here. Okay, so this is the buckled wall. We can see a heat signature all through from south to north. There is fuel in here, or else there wouldn't be such predominant heat signatures. We can see the crane above the spent fuel pool here. That's why it's all white, because the crane's right over top of it. But we can see that there is definitely high heat signature in the spent fuel pool. But there's also the core, which is hot. This is just the turbine building. Now here's reactor 4 again, and there's a swing pump, concrete pump, pumping water over to the spent fuel pool, trying to save the spent fuel pool, because the north side of the wall, the north side, is lost. We have some steam rising up here in the center where the core is, and you can see the melted blob out of the north side. We are looking west. Here's another thermal image. This is reactor 4 right here. Okay, so this is the turbine building. So we are up here would be west, and this would be north, and this would be south. This would be the spent fuel pool. That would be the crane over top of the spent fuel pool. This would be the core and the equipment pool. So TEPCO is lying to us. There was fuel inside the core at reactor 4. Well, here we go again. You see how this is all folded in? If this exploded, because most of the damage is on this side of the building, it would have broke away all this. This wouldn't be like this. It's all imploded. It's folded in on itself because of the 9-hour fire it had here in this. And I know the FOA documents say that the reactor 4 spent fuel pool and there was a big fire, they had to evacuate, but maybe they meant the equipment pool had a big fire. And the equipment pool, they had to evacuate because of the equipment pool was melting down and catching fire. Because early on in this, when they were writing all those emails in the FOA documents, there was no one around to tell them exactly what was going on. They knew there was a fire here. They staked their life on it. But all the pictures showed there was water in reactor 4. And this side they were just quiet about. They didn't mention anything about this in the heat signatures. And we can see steam rising up from the core here. So again, here's reactor 4. Okay, so here's the concave wall here. Here's the spent fuel pool right here. And this is the crane over the spent fuel pool. This is the core, and this is the equipment pool on this side, which melted, which I think was lost. That's why we don't see it right to the end of the wall, because it was lost, and the melted molten mass flowed out of the wall. Here's a very clear picture. This is reactor 4, right here. You can see the building, reactor 4. This wall's pushed in right here. This is the crane over reactor 4, spent fuel pool. That's what the square is the spent fuel pool. Then we have the core, which is this circle right here, right? And then we have the equipment pool, which is located on the north side of the reactor. And I believe that it breached right here. And you can see this is the lower floor. This would be the floor above it. And this is the lower floor. And it's showing a heat signature down in the lower floor below. And that's where it melted out. This was in March 31st, 2011. That's the equipment, common spent fuel pool. Here's reactor 4 again. You can see there's the spent fuel pool, there's the core, and there's the equipment pool, all showing heat signatures. And that was on April the 16th. So now here we're looking at the security camera on reactor 4 before it exploded. We know that the reactor cap was off. The reactor cap would sit right over here. And you can see glowing in there too. You see the glowing? Anyways, and this is the containment cap. The containment cap would go right over all this and be sealed. And this is the spent fuel pool, and the equipment pool would just be over here on this side. We can't see it because this crane, this fueling crane, which was located over the spent fuel pool when it exploded, is blocking the view. And now this is a picture from 2012, I believe. Maybe early, yeah, 2012, I believe. So you see all this black? This is in the core. This is in the well. The core would be located in here, and it's all full of water. And we can see the black signature from a fire, as they did have something burn in it. And you can see the containment cap right here, and then this is the rigger for lifting off the reactor core cap. So this is the building, an outline of the building. You can see where everything is on here. All the heat, if we look at the heat signatures, we got the crane, which is sitting over the spent fuel pool. And we can see the heat coming out from the spent fuel pool, right? This is all from the spent fuel pool here and here, but we can't see it here because there's a big metal crane over it, so it looks cold. Here is the core, the containment. So we can see definitely a heat signature here, and this contradicts what TEPCO says. There is no fuel in the core, and this is the equipment pool right here. You can see the heat signature here as well. Then there's part of the floor, the fourth floor is in the way here, but you can see there's a hole in the floor, and you can see the heat coming out. This is where the molten mass flowed out of the north wall right here. So that was a zoom. Let you read. That was a zoom, and now this is this picture is out a little more, so you can see clearly the building structure around reactor 4. You can see this is the north wall, and we can see the core and the spent fuel pool and the equipment pool. Now, obviously, TEPCO in the nuclear industry is lying about losing the fuel here, and just making about the spent fuel pool, which they were able to save. This picture is from Chernobyl in 1986 that exploded. This is the molten mass that flowed out. It's gold color, just like it was on March the 16th in Fukushima when it flowed out of reactor 4 north wall. It was gold. Then two days later, it was black. Well, if you go there now and look at Chernobyl in the basement, this elephant foot is black. It's not gold anymore. So this is reactor 4 spewing steam up into the atmosphere. Reactor 4 was split into 6 equal sizes, so you can see that it's coming from 3 and 4 right here. This would have been where the spent fuel pool is, and this would have been where the equipment pool was. Now if we compare the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections of reactor 4 with the building outline here, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like these 6 right here, splitting it up, and we can see that the core is directly under 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Steam billowing up. So there was definitely something coming out of the middle of the building. This is the spent fuel pool. You see how deep it is? This wouldn't have lost water. This would have lost water last. and then the core, which is really deep down to here. So this would have been all filled with water, and then the equipment pool. The equipment pool is directly flush with the bottom of this, where the containment cap is. So this equipment pool would have been lost first, and is what melted down and came out of the wall right here onto the vent pipe that would have been right here outside. And this all buckled because this burned, and this all fell in because of the intense heat of this pool drying up and burning and melting down, which TEPCO has not admitted to. And this is the end of it. I tried to explain it best I could. Anyhow, thank you for listening.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is December 15th, 2013. Here are your news updates for today. We have one more day to go. We're actually going into the 16th now across the world. So, this is the last day of the Mayan calendar, technically, because they're like, at least, like, I think it's 12 hours ahead of us. So, here we go. Here's your news updates for today. So, we'll see if anything happens tomorrow. Technically, on this side, we have only a few more hours, and then we will be into December 16th, 2013. The end of all the calendars of the Mayan calendar, all the different counts. So keep your eyes to the sky. First, I thought there wasn't going to be any news. I have a lot of news to attach for you guys. Alrighty then. There was no new E&E news, which was really strange. And then only like one article here and there on the other news sites. And then I started going all over the place, and I found all kinds of stuff you haven't seen yet, probably. So, alrighty then. Here's what we have for you today. The Watchers watching the world. Another paroxysm at Etna's new southeast crater, Italy. That's it. Also, the extinction protocol. There's no new news there. Nothing very interesting on the mainstream news. So, I did attach a lot of stuff that did go on today. And I want everyone to be safe. There is adult language towards the end of Miss Milky the Clown's videos I attached. And I guess this shows a lot of proof that all those... number 4 has already went off. The MOX fuel, number 3, that was set off into the atmosphere. Just be aware there might be some adult language. But what I could see now is up to all the entertainers, the artists, the comedians, whoever's out there, all types of different entertainment, to make the public aware of what's going on with all the radiation. Alrighty then, best to get a detector. Best to keep a secondary set of shoes, even maybe clothes. You're gonna have to start changing outside before you walk inside your house, instead of dragging this stuff, the tainted stuff that's coming in off the rain, the snow. You might want to change your clothes and shoes before stepping into your house. Even if it rains, stay out of the rain. Don't play with the snow unless you use a Geiger counter first. Alright, a lot of people don't want to listen to this, so you know, that you try to tell, we're gonna start witnessing a lot of stuff. Even though there is a, can't really talk about it anymore over there in Japan because they have the secrecy thing going on. But I guess if it's coming over here and it has the signature of Fukushima, I guess I don't see how they can hide this stuff. You know, so I guess it's a secret what's going to happen to them, huh? I guess there's going to be a secret happening to them because they have just ruined everyone's property value. And the rumors, oh, foreign troops. I think once they figure out that we're all that all the radiation's blown over here, most of the foreign troops are gonna get the hell out of here. What do you think? I don't think they're gonna stay here. They're gonna worry about themselves. As soon as they find out what kind of counter radiation is flowing over here, I think they're all gonna vamoose. What do you think? What is this on Teenage Wasteland or whatever? Is this whole? It's, I don't know. It just seems like it's all getting destroyed. I don't know what they think they're all going to rule over. Instead of handling the problem, they didn't handle it, so now you're going to have all the stinky squid on the all over the place. All the sea life that's dying. Oh, and so I wanted to know where I got that from the Commons. You just have to look up Tahitian or Hawaiian dancing. And that came up in the Library of the Commons. I cited it on whatever. You got to travel through all the attributes now and track it down. But it's easiest to just get that off of the library, the Commons. Creative Commons library. That's where I originally got it from, and it's listed. Or follow all the attributes. Once you're signed in, the regular producers can't get into the channel and like start backtracking it. It's like when you're not signed in, then you can, and it doesn't recognize you, then then you can follow where it says attributes on the right. That tells where all the videos came from. You can just click onto that and follow it. Or just go into the Commons and look up Tahitian dancing. Or Tahitian dancers. If I remember correctly. Alrighty, then it was all cited on whatever the attribute leads to. But it's easier just to get it from the Commons. Alright, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm going to start posting some more interesting things, I think, after today. Because, I mean, the worst case scenario has happened. With all the it's my opinion, with all the evidence I've seen. So all it is that all we can do is detox, try to stay away from the stuff, and step away from whatever, the radiation. Step away from the, if something might be tainted, you're not sure where the seafood came from, don't eat it. You know you can't eat it if it's tainted from the BP spill, or if it's from, I guess, the Pacific Coast now. If you're not sure, best to not eat it, or see if you can get something that's imported from somewhere else. Not buy any of that stuff right now, which I would assume would be the North Atlantic and other places going in that direction. Alrighty then, take care, please be safe. I would save as much clean water, put it aside, canned food if you knew where it came from and it's not GMO, and just sit tight, and we'll see what happens tomorrow too. Try to keep our eyes to the sky to see if there's some kind of special alignment. Just a heads up. After that, I guess we'll just relax and enjoy ourselves, because this has been one wild ride, I'll tell you that. Hopefully all we could do, all we can do is pray. And I guess if enough of us pray and enough of us get the message out on making people aware, I think God will handle all this. Alrighty then. We just have to turn it over to God. It's just very incredible. And yes, it is like we are in a simulation, I believe, and it's like the Matrix. And those who just go about their business and you try to warn them, just give up on that. All you can do is tell them, and that's it. Don't waste any more time. That's what I'm going to do. That's it. I know it's the worst case scenario. It all melted down. It's all flowing here. Now we all have to just take action in protecting ourselves. I don't think there's any more need to even to keep like reporting on this stuff. We already know it's happened. So all the reports now are going to be what's happened because of what's happened. You know, it's going to come in increments. Oh, this is dead. That's dead. This is all washing up. And that's all we can do. I mean, now we must move on. And hopefully we can, you know, enough noise can be raised and enough praying that something will be done about all this. All right. Take care. Oh, look, there's a pet down there. Someone's moving around. I think that's Max. He's all turned around. There he is. Oh, he's passing out. All right. He's in the comforter. The comforter zone. All right. Take care. And maybe I'll bring you some more entertainment after today, because I'm just about fed up with all this stuff. All you're gonna see now is for every action there's a reaction. Now you're gonna watch what's gonna happen after all this. You know, and that way you're not panicked and you know where it's coming from and how to take action to protect yourself. I would start just Googling and investigating all your different resources and backup plans and be ready, and then just move on from all this. Maybe we need to all move on and go south, you know, but it's still gonna hit there, but that's just buying time. Hopefully we can figure a technology to clean all this mess up that has happened. Alright. Well, you have a wonderful evening, and we're going into Monday, the 16th. Alright, take care. And I'll see you tomorrow again on the flip side.
When the mainstream press and the government says nobody could have predicted this, they're lying through their fucking teeth.
Engineers at the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant have identified why the number 3 reactor experienced a meltdown after the 2011 disaster. They say the accident likely resulted from the early breakdown of the cooling system and failed attempts to inject water. The plant's number 1, 2, and 3 reactors suffered meltdowns. At reactor number 3, the meltdown began at about 10:40 a.m. on March 13th, 2 days after the quake and tsunami. Engineers with Tokyo Electric Power Company say the latest findings suggest that part of the fuel was exposed because the water level inside the reactor was too low. This indicates the functions of the emergency cooling system had already been lost by early morning. Their report also says firefighters began to douse the reactors with water shortly after 9 a.m. They say that may have been ineffective because of leaks from the piping. TEPCO officials say they will continue to investigate why massive amounts of radioactive substances were released and how it happened.
Hi, I'm Arnie Gunderson from Fairwinds, and this is a special video. I'd like to share with you my concerns about a new law that's just been passed in Japan called the State Secrets Law. I'm concerned about the law because it's going to stifle the free flow of scientific information about Fukushima Daiichi. The law is written in such a way that it doesn't tell what a state secret is, but it makes talking to a reporter illegal and punishable by jail time if the state determines that a reporter has been told a state secret. This is a scary precedent. The Japanese people are against it, the Japanese press are against it, and in fact all the minority parties in the Japanese government are against it. But the pro-nuclear Abe regime has just passed this state secrets law and ramrodded it through the Diet, which is their parliament, over the objections of all of the other parliamentarians. This is a serious change in freedom of the press, which has been allowed in Japan since World War II, and is not a precedent that Fairwinds thinks helps the free flow of scientific information as it relates to Fukushima Daiichi. We've already told you that many scientists have had their reports squashed and their careers threatened. This law will make things even worse. I'm very afraid that if I go back to Tokyo and try to speak, I'll be arrested too. Well, that leaves us and the team at Fairwinds to provide the information to the Japanese people, the information they need to know. It appears that the only vehicle to have that happen now that the Japanese have passed the state secrets law is the Internet. By passing this state secrets law, the Abe regime showed its true colors. It's really only interested in protecting the corporate power brokers that provide campaign funding and is really not interested in protecting the people within the state of Japan. But what the state secret law shows is that in Japan, Japan has the people of the government, by the government, and for the government. This law is a mistake. At Fairwinds, we know it's a mistake. And we really do appreciate your contributions that are allowing us to continue to speak truth to power, not just in the past, but into 2014 as well. So thank you very much for your contributions. I'm Arnie Gunderson. I'll keep you informed.
Okay, Ted, what's the problem?
Hello, Betty. What's the problem? I haven't got a problem. I've got fucking problems. Plural. Wanna hear?
China has closed its doors to all imports of West Coast shellfish. Chinese officials tested samples of gooey duck clams and found elevated levels of arsenic and a toxin that causes paralytic shellfish poisoning. KUOW's Ashley Ahern reports.
U.S. officials believe the contaminated clams were harvested in Washington or Alaska. Right now they're waiting to hear back from Chinese officials for more details that will help them identify the exact source. But until further notice, China's not accepting any shellfish harvested from California to Alaska. Jerry Borchard is in charge of monitoring toxins in shellfish for the Washington Department of Health. He says China's actions are unusual.
They've never done anything like that I've ever seen since I've been here, where they would not allow shellfish from this entire area based on potentially 2 areas, or maybe it was just 1 area. We don't really know yet.
Last year, the U.S. exported more than $500 million worth of shellfish, with China as its biggest customer. The shellfish industry in Washington is worth $270 million annually. Bill Dewey is with Taylor Shellfish, the largest shellfish supplier in Washington. He says China's move is having an impact.
I was just talking to our Duck manager, and he's got 2 harvest crews and 3 beach crews essentially doing make work. He's too nice a guy to lay him off during the holidays, but there's only so much you can be charitable about making work for people.
There's no telling when China will lift its import ban, but shellfish on the market in the U.S. are safe to eat. Officials say the investigation is ongoing.
A mysterious invasion at California beaches. Hundreds upon hundreds of squid. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Cook.
And I'm Ken Bastida. Now, they washed up all of a sudden along a 12-mile stretch of beach. CBS 5 reporter Kit Doe on the theory about where all that squid came from and how people have been out there trying to save them.
The beaches of Santa Cruz County are littered with the carcasses of thousands of Humboldt squid. They've stranded themselves from Aptos to Watsonville, a span of 12 miles.
You just see them essentially killing themselves, and it's just really weird to see it.
It happened yesterday during high tide. Some people actually tried to put them back in the water, but researcher Hannah Rosen says the deep water creatures swam right back to shore.
They don't see the shore very often, so it might just be that they don't understand what's going on around them, and they're just trying to get away and don't realize that if they swim towards the shore, they're going to run out of water eventually.
They're juveniles, both male and female, about 1.5 feet long, weighing roughly 3 pounds. They had full stomachs, having feasted on smaller market squid. A few had also cannibalized each other, which is normal. To be honest, researchers have no idea why this is happening, but they think it's because the squid have eaten toxic algae.
It's possible that the squid are ingesting either these neurotoxins or they're getting it through their food, and that could be causing them to be disoriented and swim onto the beach.
Homeboat squid haven't been in the Monterey Bay for a few years. Scientists believe El Nino weather patterns may have drawn them to the cooler waters of Northern California. This is the third stranding in 6 weeks.
It's really an exploratory time for us, so we're learning more about what causes these strandings and whether or not we should be worried about them or if it's just a natural part of the squid cycle.
In Aptos, Kit Doe, CBS 5.
Hi, I'm Arnie Gunderson. At Fairwinds, we get numerous questions about Fukushima and nuclear power in general. Someone on our team reads every one of them. This is the first in a series of short videos designed to answer those questions that come in from you, our supporters. I've been getting a bunch of emails about recently released NRC FOIA documents, Freedom of Information Act documents, about the condition of Fukushima Daiichi right after the accident back in 2011. It's clear from those FOIA documents that the NRC believed that a massive problem was occurring not just in the Unit 4 fuel pool, but likely in all of the other fuel pools as well. I think there's 2 points to be made. After the site began to be more under control, it appears that those were exaggerations by the NRC, and really the fuel pools were not as bad as the initial documents led them to believe. So that's the good news. But the bad news is, let's look at how authorities responded. In the middle of March, they really believed that they had fuel pools that were in a catastrophic condition. And yet, what did authorities do? They did not evacuate. So I think the message here from these NRC FOIAs is, thank God it wasn't as bad as they imagined, but given what they knew in early March, why the heck did the NRC and the regulators in Japan issue a much wider evacuation? I think it's because they didn't want to frighten the public, but yet they put the public at risk. It was easier to put the public at risk than it was to issue an evacuation and move more people out. Thanks for listening. I'm Arnie Gunderson, and I'll keep you informed.
The hybrid offspring of domestic pigs and wild boars are increasing in number across parts of Fukushima Prefecture affected by the 2011 nuclear accident. These animals appear to be the offspring of wild boars and domestic pigs left behind by their owners. NHK surveyed 11 municipalities with evacuation zones due to the radioactive fallout from the crippled nuclear plant. Officials of 5 of those municipalities say the number of hybrid offspring appears to be on the rise. Tomioka town officials have reported 17 cases where hybrid pigs broke into houses and barns in search of food.
I am so shocked by what the wild pigs are doing to us.
Officials at the Environment Ministry say the animals give birth to larger litters than wild boars, around 10 piglets annually. Ministry officials and local hunters are culling the animals as they could interfere with residents returning to their homes.
Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. 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 Radiation, the sign of a once great nation. Heads filled with disinformation, used to control their population and reduce the infestation. Radiation, the sign of a once great nation. Heads filled with disinformation, used to control their population and reduce the infestation. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Wow. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Radiation, a sign of a depleted population. Heads filled with disinformation, used to control a population and control the infestation. Radiation, a sign of a depleted population. Heads filled with disinformation, used to control a population and control the infestation. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. 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 Radiation, the drug of a dying nation. Heads filled with disinformation, used to control the population and reduce the infestation. Radiation, a sign of a depleted population. Heads filled with disinformation, used to deplete a population and control the infestation. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Goddamn motherfucking futuristic zombie cannibals. Goddamn motherfucking futuristic zombie cannibals. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. 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 Radiation, the sign of a once great nation. Heads filled with disinformation, used to control their population and reduce the infestation. Radiation, the sign of a once great nation. Heads filled with disinformation, used to control their population and reduce the infestation. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals. Goddamn motherfucking Fukushima zombie criminals.
Another year has come and gone, and your only notable accomplishment has been watching this internet news summary video.
Miss Milky
applauds your effort.